Hello everyone, True here, back with another video. I hope all of you guys are having a fantastic day, and before we hop into today's deck, please do remember to like and subscribe. Really supports the channel. It doesn't cost you anything, and please keep in mind you can always unsubscribe as well. And while you're at it, please drop a like on today's video. It really helps this video to get shared with other people. And with all of that being said, let's hop into today's video. So today's video is on Sander Wojcik's, I hope that's how you say his name, first place control list he piloted through an Atlas mini tournament that's been happening for the past few weeks, and Sander managed to finish first place, which is definitely pretty cool. So if you don't know what control list, the general idea is to utilize Excadrill's Rototiller, attack shuffle any 4 cards from your discard pile back into your deck, and essentially you can boss something up into the active, make it, and at the same time hand lock your opponent, use Chip-Chip Ice Axe to set your opponent's top deck, and at the same time Crushing Hammer them to death, removing all their energies from the field and essentially removing any possible win condition they can possibly have. Now, something to note about this deck is that there is no Savali GX. This is not Tord's build. You have no Savali GX, and this is not Omnipokes build either. You have no Lapras to recover a Misty's favor to make do away. So this means that this deck is definitely more skill capped, I should say, with no real way to recover infinite cards besides Ordinary Rod, like no real way to freely make do. You have to conserve your resources extremely well, and if you don't, this deck will become a sack of bricks in a matter of turns. So this deck is extremely high skill cap. Hopefully I can do it some justice in today's video. So we play a 3-3 line of Minccino and Cinccino. That's pretty normal for control decks these days. You don't really see 4-4 anymore. I like 4-4, but 3-3 has been working pretty well as well, to say the least. So 3-3 can definitely be merited. An interesting inclusion we see is the one of Aipom. Now, I don't like one of Aipom. I personally think that Persian is so much stronger, but I can see Sander's reasoning behind this. Instead of having 2 spots for a way to discard a bunch of cards from your opponent's hand, you just have Aipom, which is just 1 spot, so you have a room for another card, and essentially instead of giving your opponent a turn to work with to play around Meowth, because you have to bench a Meowth and then evolve into Persian, you can just bench Aipom out of nowhere, yank out, and discard a bunch of random cards. So Aipom is definitely a very interesting conclusion. I haven't played enough with this deck to the point where I can say I would cut it or not cut it for the Persian, but definitely interesting to say the least. We have 3 Drilbur, 2 Excadrill, that's pretty standard, and we play 3 Jirachis, which is definitely something I like. Jirachis are something you want your opponent to KO more than anything in this deck. You definitely, if your opponent's gonna KO anything, you want it to be Jirachis. You don't mind feeding your opponent Jirachis. You can get a trainer out of them, and they're only 1 prize card, so you certainly don't mind feeding your opponent Jirachis. Hence the reason we play the heavy line of 3. We play 1 Lucario and Melmetal-GX for the full metal wall, being able to remove energies from our opponent's Pokemon with the GX attack is definitely very cool. I haven't really used this card in the deck yet. Maybe we'll get to today, not entirely sure. We play 2 Zacian Vs to be able to use that Intrepid Sword, hopefully turn 1. Just giving us more cards to work with is always very nice. 1 Giratina to be able to remove special energies definitely makes sense. We play 1 of Mew to protect our bench from things like Pikarom, and in the Mewtwo matchup, Naganadel's Snipe Shot. I don't know if that's how, or Venom Shot. Yeah, so Mew just has a couple of uses. We play 1 of Weezing to be able to get an additional card off of Jesse and James. This makes Stamp to 3 a much more easier way and much more effective way to lock our opponent. And we only play 1 of Chip-Chip Ice Axe. Now, Sander's very famous for only playing 1 ofs. And he's certainly showing that off in this build. He only plays 1 Chip-Chip Ice Axe. Definitely a very interesting decision. With ADPZ flying around ladder and stuff and tournaments, I definitely see merit. You only ever need 1 Chip-Chip Ice Axe in the ADPZ matchup, so I can see why he only includes one. We play 4 Crushing Hammers, 1 Great Ball, and the search options are definitely very wacky. We play 1 Great Ball, 1 Pokemon Communication, and 4 Quick Balls, no 3 Calm, no 3 Great Ball, a 1-1 split. Definitely very interesting. And another super interesting inclusion are the Judge Whistles. We play 3 of them. I guess this serves as an extra way to draw cards early game. Definitely very interesting. They've been pretty useful from my testing. But definitely not something I would have thought of. We only play 1 Ordinary Rod, which is something I don't like. I like playing 2 Ordinary Rods personally, but Sanders playing risky. He only plays 1. We play 2 Stamp, 2 Net, 1 Tool Scrapper to remove things like air balloons and stuff like that. 1 Galar Mine, 1 Wondrous Labyrinth. Pretty straightforward. You usually see 2 Galar Mine, but Sander only plays 1, so we're only playing 1. We play 2 Bird Keeper, 2 Cynthia and Caitlin, and 1 Erica's Hospitality for our draw supporters. Erica's Hospitality super good now, being able to normally draw 6 cards, and keeping cards in your hand is very strong. And against Eternatus, you can even draw up to 9 cards, which is really insane. So Erica's Hospitality, definitely a very merited draw supporter and control now. We only play 1 of Boss, which I hate. I love playing 2 Bosses orders, because if you prize Boss, you essentially lose. I would love to know Sanders' reasoning behind only playing 1, but as for now, we're only rolling with 1. We play 2 Jesse James, 2 Lieutenant Surge, pretty straightforward. 1 of Rosa to be able to search out tools and resources whenever one of our Pokemon are knocked out. 2 Yell Grunts, because Yell Grunts are pretty good against the ADPZ matchup, hopefully delaying our opponent's GX attack on their turn 2 if they go first. So Team Yell Grunt definitely pretty cool right now. We play 1 Capture, 3 Fighting Energy. That's all I have to say for the deck. Very unusual list, and let's hop into some games. Alright, so hopping into our first game against Pokemon Liga DD, I guess. Good luck to him or her. Our opponent will be calling the coin flip. Ideally with this deck, we do want to go first. We do lose the coin flip, unfortunately, so we are still going first, so we might be up against something fire related. I would imagine the only reason our opponent would let us go first is either they're playing a really turbo version of ADPZ and they want to dig for the turn 1 Altered Creation. They're playing Scorch with Volcanion, or they're playing Baby Blondes, or they're being weird and playing Eternatus. So that's basically that's my thought process here. We're gonna start Jirachi, pretty strong starting hand, and it looks like we're up against the Scorch. Alright. We definitely want to hold on to the Mew. Our opponent can play that pesky Cramorant that we definitely want to play against. We can start off with the Quick Ball, get rid of the Yell Grunt. Yell Grunt's not going to be super useful in this matchup, and we can get out Zacian V. Let's see what we prized. One Excadrill, that's definitely painful, but having another one in deck certainly helps out a lot. Scorch VMAX, certainly not the best matchup to say the least, but certainly winnable. Let's see what we get off of the Stellar Wish. There's the Jesse and James. I think I'm gonna just opt to take the Quick Ball here and hold off on playing it until next turn. I want to hold on to a bunch of these resources. Do I want to bench the Mew now? I think I do want to bench the Mew to play around our opponent from spit-shotting our Minccino. That would be super annoying. I'm going to bench the Mew here and just go for that Intrepid Sword. We get a Boss's Orders, Aipom, and a Jesse and James. Nothing too spectacular here, but we certainly can Quick Ball away the Aipom. Probably just go for another Minccino next turn. That would be pretty good as well. Let's see what our opponent has going for them. Let's see if they have the turn 1 Volk. There's a Heat Ray GX from our opponent. Maybe I should have Quick Ball grabbed a Jirachi, but I'm expecting our opponent to use Flare Starter turn 1. I'm not expecting them to go too aggressive. There's the Quick Ball, getting rid of a Heat Fire Energy. There is the Volcanion from our opponent. They probably have a switch. I'm pretty sure Scorch normally plays 4 switch, and if they're playing the Heat Ram package, they're most definitely playing 4 switch. There's the Pokecom from our opponent. Probably gonna grab a Dedenne GX here to dig for a switch. No, they're opting for the Crobat. Alright. Unless they have the switch in hand, no, they're gonna crow back here. Alright, let's see if our opponent hits the switch here. If they don't, and they whiff Welder, it would be pretty funny. But I'm expecting our opponent to be able to pull off the turn 1 player starter. Something to note is that our opponent did bench the Crobat, so this is gonna be our main target for boss's orders and trapping the Crobat in the active. That's definitely going to be a very optimal line of play. There's the Pokecom. They might DAA change here if they really want to dig for that switch. They probably know they're playing against control, so they might hold off on doing so. Maybe they're gonna DAA change here. They decided to save the Cynthia Scorch V Max, quick balling away a Cynthia Scorch V, and there's the DAA from our opponent. Alright, that's good for us. Now we have 2 targets to work with. They even get rid of a Welder, so that's really good for us. Now we certainly don't mind if our opponent pulls off the turn 1 flare starter. Basically they had to burn through a bunch of resources in order to do so, and no, just the radiating heat from our opponent. So it seems as if our opponent drew really poorly, and they weren't able to do much on their turn, which we'll definitely take for sure. Now what do we want to do here? We want to hold on to as many resources as possible, and the only real card that I can see getting rid of here is the Aipom. So I'm going to opt to make do away the Aipom for now. The reason I'm not quick balling first is because I certainly don't mind drawing into the Minccino, which we actually do. So I'm going to opt to Stellar Wish first, see if we can rip a Galar Mine, and if we do, we might be able to boss up something and trap it in the active for a turn. I'm going to start off with the Stellar Wish here. There is the Galar Mine we were talking about. Now the question is whether or not we want to make the play right now. I sort of want to hold on to the Galar Mine because so we can handlock, do Doshin in against that one turn. Our opponent's not really putting that much pressure on us. This is a really tough decision. Might actually just go with the Rosa here because we have access to Surge in hand. So having access to Rosa next turn would definitely be pretty cool. So I'm gonna bench this Minccino here. What do we quick ball away here? Having Erika's definitely feels pretty cool, but having access to another Jirachi for next turn whenever they KO our active also feels really good. Our opponent definitely could boss up our Zacian V next turn and KO it. That's also something we need to keep in mind. I think I'm gonna opt to quick ball, maybe get rid of a Cynthia and Caitlin. That doesn't feel ideal. I'm just gonna get rid of the Ericas here. Yeah, chances of us being able to play it aren't that high. I'm gonna grab another Jirachi to work with. So I'm expecting our opponent to knock out our active, and if they don't, we do have access to Scoop Up Net, so we can have access to double Stellar Wish next turn. I'm going to play this Cynthia and Caitlin. Let's see what we get rid of here. I'll probably get rid of the other Cynthia and Caitlin. This doesn't feel that good, to be honest. I should have quick balled away the boss now that I think about it, and then Cynthia and Caitlin away the Erika's Hospitality and got back the boss. That would have been optimal sequencing for sure, but I'm getting a little bit punished for my misplay here. We'll recover the Erika's though and go from there. So let's see what we draw here. Tool Scrapper's not going to do a whole lot. Capture Energy is not going to do a whole lot. Let's just go with Intrepid Sword here. There's a Pokecom that's pretty good. Yeah, I'm definitely a little bit not happy with the way I played that out there. I definitely should have. I forgot we had a supporter to work with for the turn, and I mistakenly got rid of the Erika's with the quick ball when I should have quick balled away the boss and recovered the boss from the Cynthia and Caitlin. So definitely a misplay on my part. There's the Giant Heart from our opponent. Definitely glad I did not opt to go with the Galar Mine boss play there. I would have gotten punished. There's the Cynthia Scorch V Max from our opponent. So if they have a boss in hand, they can take a KO on our Zacian. Now that I think about it, it's not even that unlikely. They haven't went through any boss yet. Their deck's pretty thin for turn 2 at 28 cards here. So let's see if they have the boss play to work with. I'm expecting it. And no, just a G-Max Inferno on our active Jirachi. We'll take it. Alright. I'm not complaining at all. We have access to Rosa Surge. We have access to a lot of things here. So the question is, do we opt to... if we draw really well, we can handlock our opponent, but I don't think it's the time for that yet because we don't have a Drilbur setup on board. So I'm going to promote the Jirachi here. I might even hold off on playing the Surge here. Let's see what we opt to do. I'm going to probably start off with the Make Do, get rid of a Quick Ball. We don't really, but we probably do want to keep Quick Ball around in case we need a Quick Ball for a Drilbur. I'll probably just get rid of the Tool Scrapper here. Tool Scrapper doesn't feel that useful. We haven't seen an Air Balloon yet. There's a Bird Keeper that's pretty good. Let's go with the Pokecom, put back the Giratina into the deck, get out another Cinccino, and go from there. The really rough thing about playing one boss and no Pal Pad is that if we use the boss now, we're not going to have access to it a turn later, which definitely sort of sucks. We definitely want access to boss later on. Really, what are we going to do here? I sort of want to Rosa go for the Galar Mine, I guess. Galar Mine definitely feels pretty good right now. I'm going to play the Rosa here. Grab a Drilbur, grab the, I'm probably misplaying here, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm still pretty new to playing this deck, so let's just grab these three here. Grab the Galar Mine, replace the Giant Hearth, give our opponent less access to energy. We haven't even seen a Crushing Hammer yet, which is definitely something to note. We're going to Quick Ball away, get rid of the Quick Ball. We don't really need that anymore. Draw two cards. There's a Crushing Hammer. I'm going to Stellar Wish first. There's a Yellow Grunt. I'll take the Great Ball here. And yeah, this deck is just really difficult to play. What do we opt to do? I don't think there's a point in playing the Crushing Hammer. I'm just gonna bench the Drilbur, attach to the Drilbur, prepare for that handlock phase. I think I even hold off on playing the Galar Mine. I think just stashing it in our hand feels pretty good. And yeah, I'm just gonna Intrepid Sword here. Draw some more cards. There's another Jirachi to work with. That's pretty cool. And let's see what our opponent has going for them this turn. Let's see if they have the boss on our Zacian boss. If they have boss in general, they use the Giant Heart again. Get rid of another Fire Energy. Again, our game plan is to boss something up. Boss a Crobat or a Dedenne. Play the Giant Hearth. Handlock our opponent and Chip-Chip Ice Axe cycle. And yeah, just hammer them to death in the late game. There's a boss from our opponent. They'll probably boss up our Zacian here. No, they opt to boss up the Drilbur. Alright, we will certainly take it. For sure. They bench another Scorch V. I'm not sure how I feel about that because they probably want to save the bench space for the Dedenne or a Crobat in the late game. Alright, we're fine with that. For sure. I'm gonna promote the Jirachi again. And start off with a couple of Make Do's. Make Do, probably wait a Jirachi here. Maybe that was a misplay. We had access to Bird Keeper. Maybe we wanted to keep that around. I'm not entirely sure. Quick Ball away the Quick Ball. Make Do away the Quick Ball here. There's a Lucario Melmetal. Play the Judge Whistle here. Draw a card. There's a Crushing Hammer. What do we want to do here? Yeah, maybe I should have kept the other Jirachi around. I guess. Let's start off with the Great Ball. Grab the Weezing. That's gonna be useful next turn whenever they KO something from us. We're gonna Stellar Wish here. Probably take the Chip-Chip Ice Axe. We have a lot of things in our hand. Hopefully our opponent doesn't stamp us or something like that. That would be super annoying to deal with right now. I'm going to actually net our active Jirachi and Bird Keeper into the Jirachi again to be able to get another Stellar Wish off. I think that's optimal right now. So going to Bird Keeper into this Jirachi here, draw 3 cards, play the Judge Whistle here, and at this point we're near the point where we can start bossing, hand locking, and locking our opponent out of this game, which definitely feels pretty good. Let's Stellar Wish here. Probably take another Crushing Hammer. Maybe I should have taken the Scoop Up Net or Judge Whistle. Do I want to play the Ordinary Rod? I feel like No, not yet. Alright. We don't have Excadrill in this card, and keep in mind we only do have one in deck. So we want to save our Ordinary Rod for those scenarios. And I think I'm going to hold off on playing hammers. I do want to thin these out of the deck, but at the same time, holding onto them feels pretty good. So I'm just going to Intrepid Sword here. Hopefully our opponent doesn't have a boss. We have access to everything in our hand for next turn. And let's see if our opponent has any shenanigans up their sleeves. There's the attachment. Let's see if they have a Marnie. That would be super annoying. If they have Stamp, it would be super annoying. No, there's a Cynthia and Caitlin, however. That's good for us. That means no Marnie. If they draw into Stamp, that would be super annoying. They recover the boss. That's fine with us. That won't be in their hand next turn as we plan to Stamp and lock them. Let's see. There's the Gmax into a 4-0 from our opponent. And now comes the fun. Alright, time to lock our opponent. We have access to boss. We have access to everything in this hand. Let's get to work. So we draw into the fighting energy. I think I'm just going to Judge Whistle, draw into our last card. I think that feels fine with me. Let's start off with the Judge Whistle. We draw into a Scoop Up Net, evolve. So we start off by evolving into Excadrill. We're certainly going to attach a fighting energy to the active. We're certainly going to stamp our opponent to 3 cards. Yeah, we have so much resources to work with. We're going to Surge first. We're going to Boss's Orders, bring up a Crobat. We're going to play the Jesse and James here, I guess. I think this is fine. Yeah, we're gonna Jesse and James here. We're gonna get rid of Weezing, get rid of Lucario. No, get rid of Weezing, get rid of Zacian. Or we definitely want to keep Giratina around in case they attach a Heat Fire energy or something along the lines of that. We're gonna throw down the Wondrous Labyrinth after our opponent discards cards from their hand, which they're taking a very long time to do so. Yeah, we're sitting in a super good spot. Our opponent not stamping us or marning us is super nice. They get rid of Mallow and Lana and Centiskorch VMAX. That's really good for us. That means they have a good card in their hand if they get rid of Mallow and Lana. We're going to get rid of Weezing and Zacian V, and we're going to force our opponent to get rid of that last card of hand. It is a Pokegear. Alright, we'll certainly take it. And we'll throw down the Galar Mine, and now we're going to start playing these Crushing Hammers, making it so that it's difficult for our opponent to hopefully get energies on the board. Hopefully one of these Crushing Hammers hits heads, because certainly, oh man, triple tails. We're gonna play the Chip-Chip Ice Axe here. Yikes, all of these cards are annoying. We're gonna give our opponent the Heat Fire energy. We have access to Giratina, Scoop Up Net in our hand. Heat Fire energy, definitely the best card to give our opponent out of all of those options. And yeah, I'm just gonna Rototiller now. Shuffle back in the Chip-Chip Ice Axe, and I don't mind shuffling back in a Drilbur. But I think we can recover that with Ordinary Rod, so I think the stronger play here, just go with Triple Hammers, and apply that pressure onto our opponent. So there's no way they can attack us next turn. They only have a Heat Fire energy to work with, and then we can remove that with Giratina if we choose to do so. And yeah, we're just sitting in a really good spot. If our opponent scoops here, that's fine. We only have 14 minutes left to work with, so hopefully we can start draw passing really soon. We can even attack with Slash, and hopefully win the game through that if our opponent, if we can't mill our opponent fast enough. Let's see what our opponent let's see what our opponent opts to do if they decide to attach the energy or not. If they don't, we can Jesse and James them next turn, get rid of that Heat Fire energy from their hand along with their top deck. So they attach the Heat Fire energy to the active, alright, and they're gonna pass. That's perfectly fine with us. Let's start off with a Crushing Hammer, looking for a heads here. There's a heads. We're going to get rid of it from the Centiskorch VMAX. We're gonna make do away, probably get rid of a Yogurt. It's actually pretty good in this scenario. We can Surge Yogurt, Jesse and James, get rid of energies from our opponent's board. So I'm gonna opt to get rid of the Lucario and Melmetal here. Draw into some more Crushing Hammers. Crushing Hammer Tails. Let's see if we can hit heads on this one. Crushing Hammer Tails. Alright, that sucks. But it's okay. We're gonna make do away the Capture energy here. Draw into the Chip-Chip Ice Axe. I'm going to start off with the Chip-Chip Ice Axe, see what our opponent's going to top deck. All of these cards are pretty good for our opponent. I'm going to opt to give them the boss's orders. We can shuffle back into Bird Keeper, so we have a pretty adequate response to work with. I'm going to go ahead and Giratina, get rid of our opponent's active heat fire energy, scoop up net the Giratina here, and yeah, we're sitting in a pretty good spot, I would say. I'm going to go ahead and Rototiller, shuffle back in Chip-Chip Ice Axe, Double Hammer, and a Bird Keeper. And at this point, we really just want to get rid of a bunch of energies from our opponent's board, hopefully soon, and start going from there. So we can even start attacking with Slash again if we choose to do so. Our opponent has access to boss in their hand. Let's see if they play it. I'm really interested to see if they opt to play the boss or not. If they want to hold on to it, that's fine. We have access to Grunt. We can even Surge Grunt, Jesse and James, get rid of the energy and the boss, which might be a pretty strong play. And just a pass from our opponent. Alright. There's the top deck Chip-Chip Ice Axe. So this turn we can actually... no, we constantly have to Rototiller because we need to constantly draw into Chip-Chip Ice Axes. So I'm going to start off with the Chip-Chip Ice Axe here. Probably just give our opponent access to Welder, to be honest. We have access to a super strong Jesse and James next turn. They cannot play the bosses. They're not going to be able to play Welder next turn. I'm just going to opt to give our opponent Welder. Let's use a couple of make do's, get rid of the Erica's Hospitality. There's some Crushing Hammers. Play the Hammers here. Hit heads, that's good. Get rid of an energy from the Centiskorch VMAX. Play another Hammers. Hey, there's another heads. Get rid of another energy here. Let's see, probably just, I'm going to play the Ordinary Rod now because we want more cards to be able to make do away. I'm going to shuffle back in Drilbur. Probably the Weezing is really strong to shuffle back in as well. Shuffle back in a Fighting Energy as well. And now I'm just going to, I think we can actually make do away, the Grunt. I guess the Grunt is fine. Probably, I should have, probably make do away to Labyrinth. Labyrinth doesn't feel that useful right now, I guess. So make do away to Labyrinth. And now we can Rototiller. Benching the Drilbur doesn't really make much sense. We definitely have access to Bird Keeper in deck. We just haven't drawn into it yet. So we're just going to Rototiller here. Shuffle back in Chip-Chip Ice Axe. Some more Hammers to work with. And probably the Ordinary Rod again. And yep, pretty strong turn from us. Got a couple of hammerheads. You love to see it. And let's see what our opponent has going for them this turn. We definitely need to start playing a little bit faster because we only do have 11 minutes left to work with on the clock. Let's see what our opponent has going for them. Hopefully they scoop soon. There's the boss from our opponent onto our Zacian V. That's perfectly fine with us. We have access to Bird Keeper in deck. We're not afraid of that at all. And there's a concession from our opponent. They knew we had them in the lock. We would have hammered away all of their energies, and we would have been able to even start attacking and winning the game that way. And that's going to do it for the video, guys. I don't really feel like playing another game of Control. And if you guys enjoyed, please do remember to like and subscribe. And as always, remember to stay safe and have a good day. And peace out.